Underdog Producer here. I'm going to be reviewing The Last of Us Season 2. Now let me start by saying there's going to be spoilers, a lot of them. And I also want to say that The Last of Us Season 1, or The Last of Us, the video game, I'm a big fan of it. Played it many times, played the multiplayer with the factions many times. That was like a go-to game for us. So obviously playing the game and then watching the show was a very awesome experience. And I also got to visit Halloween Horror Nights. They had the Last of Us house there, so I'll throw some clips up behind me. You can watch it go by. All right. Very awesome house. One of the best scare houses I think ever, because I have I'm such a big fan of the game. All right. We all know about Season 1. This is about Season 2. So, full disclosure, I played the second game, just a very little bit of it, up until a certain point. And because I'm more of a movie guy, or TV guy, before video games, when I heard that they were making the show, I stopped playing it, because I want to see it before I play it. So I don't know where this season's going. So you're going to get that perspective from me. All right, so it's I don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't know where it's supposed to be going. I don't know what's supposed to be, like Walking Dead with the comic book, where people knew where it was supposed to go. I don't know that. So I'm going into this season pretty much brand new. All right, so I'm not going to give you a plot summary. I'm going to give you some highlights, some things that stuck out to me, so you can basically decide if you're on the fence of whether or not you're going to dive into this season or not. I'm going to give you some stuff that I thought that stuck out. So the first thing that stuck out to me was Bella Ramsey, or Ellie. Her character is doing some training with another townsperson. Right? They're doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and she's like a fourth of the size of him, right? And she ends up taking him down and tapping him out. My problem here is she may be the lead of this show, but she's not a superhero. All right, we don't want to be putting that out there that because you got a bad, tough attitude, that you can go and kick a guy's ass that looks like he can bench probably 400 pounds. Like, this guy had some cuts in there. So it's just a little far-fetched in terms of suspending disbelief. It was kind of like, for me, it's I like the reality stuff. I like the realness of it. So if we're gonna do that, where she's kicking a guy's ass, let's cast it accordingly. Let's cast it so it's at least a little bit believable. So he doesn't have to be scrawny, but someone with so much more strength to her. I mean, I know that it's about technique, but at some point, strength will take over. So it's a nitpick, all right? But that's just the first thing that I noticed. All right, moving on. A positive that stuck out was Pedro Pascal. I mean, he's always good, right? They're showing his character and Ellie's character. They have this push-pull relationship, to the point that it's really affecting Joel, and he has to go to therapy. And I guess from context clues, because he lied to her about what he did to the Fireflies. I guess on some level she knows that he lied, but he won't admit it, because that's like the first shot that we see when it opens up. She asks him what happened, and he said he's not lying. So I think that she knows, and that's what's causing this push-pull relationship. And she's basically, in the 5 years that have passed, she has more or less shut him out. And that's really affecting him. And I think that is a metaphor for what's to come in the season, in terms of him taking a back seat to Ellie, as opposed to us following him. We're going to be following her the whole time now. So that's my thoughts on that. Another positive thing that I thought was really cool, there's a scene where they Ellie and Dina go into a grocery store because they're just trying to be ballsy or something. They're being the strong women, I guess. They go in there for, they're not supposed to, so that they go against the rules. They're supposed to get the scouting crew. They're the scouting crew. They're supposed to go in and then go get the recon people, and they go and handle it. But they decide that they're going to go in the store and handle it themselves because they're tough. And to the point where they don't need guns. They holster their guns and take out their knives. But I thought that this part was really cool because they introduce a new clicker. Now it's an evolved clicker. So when she gets in there, they kill the first two, and then this new one that they encounter, or just Ellie because she falls through the floor, which is very reminiscent of The Walking Dead when they're trying to get the wagon or something like that, and they fall down into the ground to the bottom layer of the store. So very reminiscent of that. So Ellie's down there by herself, and she starts hearing noises where she thinks there's a clicker, and we see one actually like sneaking in the background, sneaking past her. So we're automatically like, oh, this is a different kind of clicker, and it starts almost it knows how to hide, right? It starts calling her using its voice, and to the point where she'll turn around and it knows it's gone to the next aisle. Like this thing is thinking it's smart. It's baiting her. It's setting traps. It's something that she never seen before. To the point where it tricks her. She turns around and shoots, and there's nothing there. And then it comes out from the side. So it really set a good trap. And then it bites her. And if there was anyone else in the situation, they would be dead. But because she's immune, she's okay. But that's just I thought that was a really good addition to this season because it shows the danger that's to come. And I thought that was a really good addition because it significantly raises the stakes. So now they have these evolved clickers to worry about, and they only had one. So there was only one. We didn't see a horde of them yet. We just seen the one, so we don't know how in depth they're going to get in with these new clickers. Like, is there still going to be, because in the first season there's all different kinds. There's the runners, there's the clickers, there's the ones that just sit there and whoa. But this one, is it going to be a blend, or are they all going to turn into this evolved clicker? So hopefully we get into how they starting to get smart. Like how do they get into this point? In my opinion, the peak of the episode was the grocery store scene. But we move towards the end now.
Fucking help.
It's a town dance or a town ball or a town party. And Ellie and Isabela Merced, playing the character of Dina, they start dancing. And it's just apparent that this new season is going to be about their relationship. So we're in the beginning. We're in the throes of their relationship. So they start making out on the dance floor, and one of the party goers interrupts them, and he's like, "Hey, this is a family event."
Help.
And they're like, "All right, okay." And he's like, "Yeah." So there's a lot of tension building up, and then they turn to stop making out.
Fucking help.
He hits him with a derogatory remark. Starts with a D and rhymes with bike. Calls him that, and then he says, "You're in a church."
Fucking help.
And then Joel comes out of nowhere and shoves him to the ground. So the problem with this for me is this little sequence felt very forced. Almost forced in a way of
I don't need your fucking
guess you
help.
want to say like some sort of hidden messaging, right? What do I mean by that? Okay, so let's just start with why it's forced. It was forced because look,
fucking help.
they're making out on the dance floor. That's fine. But the way that the guy came at them all hard, that felt forced.
I don't need your fucking
against
help.
them being lesbian. And then it also felt forced for him to throw in the comment, "You're in a church." Because now it's not just about them being lesbian. Now it's about this guy's a believer in God. So now he's in the wrong now. You see, because he interrupted them. He's in the wrong. But we need to know that he believes in God before we can accept that he's in the wrong. You see what I'm saying about the hitting messaging? And then
I don't need your fucking
Joel
help.
comes out of nowhere and aggressively pushes him to the ground, which I thought that felt forced because you don't see him anywhere in the whole scene.
I don't need your
Like
fucking
nowhere, not
help.
even in the background having a drink or something like that. No, he just magically shows up out of nowhere to throw this guy to the ground. And again, going back to the hidden messaging.
Fucking help.
You see what happens when you speak derogatory towards the two lesbian girls? You get thrown to the ground. See what I'm saying with the hidden messaging?
Help.
So I thought that felt forced too. And then also, Ellie doesn't accept this defense because remember she's mad at Joel for lying. So she embarrasses him in front of everybody, saying that she doesn't need his effing help. So you could see the hurt in his face.
Fucking help.
He doesn't really know how to respond. He doesn't know how to handle this situation. So he just kind of like sheepishly
I don't need your fucking
walks
help.
away. But yeah, like I said, this whole situation, this whole scene felt forced. Like it could have been directed a little bit better.
I don't need your fucking help.
Like I said, if you get rid of some of that messaging and just make it about certain, just make it about them making out in front of there's kids there, they're making out. Get a room, all right? They were making out hard, so I do agree with the Towns guy. It is a family event. Do that shit at home, all right? You don't need to do it there. And then it could have just ended with Joel.
I don't need your fucking help.
Maybe not being so aggressive. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have dialed it down a little bit. There was just too much going on at once that really just made the whole situation feel forced. All right, so the ending of season 2, episode 1. As I was watching it, it was a slow episode, so I was a little bit concerned. Like, is this gonna be slow like how they had White Lotus, where there wasn't really like even cliffhangers at the end of each episode to make you kind of like want to come back to see more? I was concerned about that. I'm like, are they gonna do that here? But I was actually satisfied with the ending. So what had happened was, in the beginning of the episode, there was this pipeline that they introduced. It was broken. It was busted. So the people were looking at it, trying to fix it. But it was stuffed with overgrowth, vegetation, roots, vines, whatever. So then at the end, a party goer's got a sparkler, and he just throws it up, and just throws it up because he's done with it, and it happens to land by this broken pipe, and we see some of the cordyceps, their roots or whatever you want to call it, moving around, right? And remember from season 1, we learned that in the scene where I think it's the kiss scene from season 1. I think it's around that episode where they're describing that the clickers can all communicate through the ground, through these vines, almost like Ethernet cables. I guess I kind of did that with Avatar too, where they can communicate through the trees and stuff like that. But that's what we're looking at now. So they started moving, and we know that they knew that this fire sparkler was there. So now they're going to tell all the clickers within miles, hundreds of miles, because it's like a whole pipeline, that there is human life that lives up in these mountains. So I thought that was a very good cliffhanger. And then at the same time, which this was really good writing here, it wasn't just that. At the same time, we see that the fireflies that are looking to kill Joel slowly, all right? Because I said in the beginning that was one of the opening scenes, is they want to find him and kill him slowly. We see that they just find this location that's in the mountains where they all live. So now we have these two big problems that they're gonna have to deal with, and then also the evolved clickers. So now we have we have 3 big problems going into the rest of the season, and I think even though the episode was slow, I think it's going to pick up significantly with these 3 setups that they gave us for the first episode. And my official IMDb score for the first episode, just because it was slow, I know you can't give points, halves or anything on IMDb, but I'm gonna give it a 7.5, only because it was slow. But I think that moving forward, especially in the next episode, I think it's gonna pick up significantly. I think we're gonna have a pretty strong season. Hopefully they don't do any filler episodes, but they're probably gonna do a couple filler episodes. But I hope they don't, and I also hope they don't pull what they did with White Lotus and just give you a bunch of exposition and character build up for a big grand finale. I would rather have some meat and potatoes going throughout the whole season to keep me hooked, right? And I'm sure that you would like that too. All right, there you have it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie and TV reviews. All right, Underdog Producer here. All right, thank you.